Hi everybody, welcome to this talk about how to motivate yourself. And if you are tuning in at 8:30 and wondering why I'm not live then, apologies. I did update the post from yesterday, but only very early this morning, so you may not have seen it. My schedule changed, so it's easier for me to get the video done this morning now rather than 30 minutes later when I planned to. So here I am, and without my chime as well, because that is elsewhere. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to talking about how to motivate yourself. But just before we get into the how, let's first talk about the why. And just the question, why are you not feeling motivated at the moment? And it's an important question, because if it's the case that you are persistently not feeling motivated in life, then it may be that you have some mental health issue that you need to look into, whether it's anxiety, depression or whatever. That's not something that I'm qualified to talk about. So I just raised the question so that you can think about that for yourself and think about whether you need to get some external help in relation to that. But if we're just talking about the common or garden, lack of motivation for something, then the key question to ask yourself in relation to whatever it is that you're not motivated about is, firstly, is it something you want to do, or is it something you have to do? Because those are different things, obviously. If it's something you have to do, then you're going to need to find ways to motivate yourself to do it. If it's something that you want to do and yet you are struggling to get motivated for it, then it can be a good idea to think about the reasons for why it is that you want to do it. Really get to the root of it. I wish I could think of a good example, actually. Okay, just a weight loss example. If you want to lose weight, but you're really struggling, like many of us do, because we love our chocolate and our treats and whatever it is, think about why it is that you want to lose the weight. Often, if we've got a particular event that we're working towards, like when I was getting married a couple of years ago, I finally found the motivation to drop those extra few pounds because I wanted to look good in the wedding dress, and that's quite a common thing that people can lose the weight for a particular event. But if it's just, not just, that's the wrong word, if it is something different, if it is another reason why you want to lose that weight, it might be a health issue, then really focus on that health issue, whatever it is, and use that as your motivation. Keep reminding yourself of it. Maybe you need to write yourself a sign to put in front of the fridge or in front of your kitchen notice, on your kitchen notice board, whatever it is, the reason why you are doing this. And that can be enough to motivate you. And if it's not something like weight loss, if it's just a simple task that you have to get done, like, I don't know, you've got a particular report to write or whatever, just, think about why it is that you are wanting to do that. Okay, so moving on, I've got a list, so forgive me, I have to keep flicking to it because I can't remember all of them, there are lots. But one of the ways to motivate yourself, or certainly to help yourself to get motivated, is to reduce the distractions around you. This day and age, we've got distractions all the time. Now, it could be somebody's got the TV on in the background or music playing. If you can't get them to turn that off, then you need to remove yourself from that environment so that you can find somewhere calm, peaceful to get on with whatever it is that you want to do. Phones are the dreaded distraction in terms of sucking out your motivation. And if you've got something that you really need to focus on in a work context, then I recommend just actually removing the phone from that environment. So, maybe stick it in a different room, at the very least put it in a drawer, because otherwise what will happen is what just happened on my screen then, because I'm talking into an iPad, and a notification flashed up from one of my social media platforms, And you want to avoid things like that when you're trying to focus on a task, because otherwise your attention gets drawn to whatever's coming in. News feeds are another one that can really disrupt your attention. I'm getting another example now. Another thing is flashing up on my screen. It's that time of day when people start commenting on all sorts of things on LinkedIn. But anyway, the point is remove the distractions so that you can focus on the task in hand. And you can give yourself a certain amount of time. So you might say, okay, I'm going to focus on this task for an hour. I'm going to put my phone away for that time, and then I can go back to looking at my phone. And if you have the issue that I just had, then you need to switch off the updates, the notifications that come onto your screen. You know, you can do that temporarily. Okay, next tip is to focus on one task at a time until you've completed it. That's a bit like removing the distractions, but in this case it's moving the sort of mental distractions, because if you know you've got, say, 5 tasks that you've got to do in your working day, it can be really tempting to have the next one in the back of your mind while you're working on one, but you have to put it to one side. You have to tell yourself and train your mind to do that, so that you just keep bringing your attention back to whatever it is. And if you block your time so that you know that your block for working on this task is an hour or whatever it is, then you can say, okay, I'm not going to think about that other one. This is an hour for me to focus on this one task that I'm doing. Another really important one is to have short breaks through your day, your working period, so that you can clear your mind. So when you get to the end of that one block of time that you set aside for that task, get away from your working area, go and make yourself a cup of tea, maybe go outside, have a breath of fresh air for 5 minutes, and then come back refreshed to start your next task. If you're a person who likes lists, then lists can be helpful to get you motivated, but it is a big if, because some people really don't like them, and actually they find that those pile on the pressure and it's another distraction. So for example, when I used to work in an office as a solicitor, I would have my list of things that I had to do. I liked them from the point of view of, once I'd finished a task, I liked the feeling of putting a line through it, ticking it off that I'd done that. But what I didn't like was that the rest of the tasks were there on the list, looming in my face, as a reminder of all the stuff that I still had to do. So it's a good idea if you feel, well, if you're like me and you like the ticking off but you don't like the distraction of the great long list, then have your list, but have it somewhere like in your desk drawer, so that you can bring it out when you're ticking off what you've done, but you can put it away again when you're working on one particular task. It's very much a personal thing, and if you're not a list person, then obviously ignore everything that I've just said about lists, because they won't motivate you if you don't like them. Next one is really important, and it's something that I talk about in all of my work, which is about raising your energetic frequency. If you've got a task that you've been putting off and you've really been struggling to get to it and you're dreading doing it, but you know you've got to, raising your energetic frequency just before you're about to do it is a really helpful thing, because you just will feel better. Now, I've talked at length elsewhere about how to raise your energetic frequency, but just a couple of quick ones. One is go outside in nature. Just go for a 10-minute walk in nature, just to calm your nervous system down and raise your energetic frequency before you start the task. Another one is to practice gratitude. So if you do a gratitude journal, write that before you have to get on with your difficult task. Or if you don't already have a gratitude practice, then sit for a few moments and think about what you're grateful for that day and write it down before you get into your difficult task. It may be that you're somebody who likes to do a lot of exercise, a lot of movement. So you might need to give yourself a run before you do this task. You might need to have a little kitchen disco if that's what floats your boat. Whatever it is, just so that you're feeling on a high before you go into that difficult task that you've been putting off. And then another thing is to work with your body's rhythms. So you will know whether you're a night owl or a morning person. I'm a morning person, so I do my best work in the morning. So if I've got something that I really need to get stuck into that's going to take quite a lot of focus, I've got to do that in the morning because it will be useless in the afternoon. Yesterday was a case in point. I need to do some work on updating my website. I wanted to do it in the morning, but the morning ran away with me for various reasons. And I didn't get to a position where I could even approach that task until about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And I knew it was a lost cause because by then I'm into my slump. So it's something that is now on the list for today instead. If you're a night owl, conversely, if you've got something like a big project to write on or the kind of task I just talked about, then schedule that for late afternoon, evening time when you're at your best. The only caveat I would say to working with your body's rhythms in that respect is that if you have one particular task that you know you've got to do, but it always keeps going to the bottom of your list and it's getting more and more urgent, then do that first. So it may be that if your working day starts in the morning, but you're a night owl, you might still need to get that task done first, because otherwise it just keeps getting pushed further and further to the end of the list because everything else seems more appealing. So the rhythm thing, it is up to you though, you know, obviously what works best for you, whether it's best to get that thing out of the way or to do it later in the day when your most energetic time is. But all of those are just examples of things that you can do to help yourself get motivated. Some will work for you, some won't. We're all different, but I'm just throwing them out there to try and help give you a few ideas for what might work for you. So thank you for watching. I appreciate that you may be taken by surprise by the fact that this video is done and dusted before my original 8:30 slot, but as you know, you can always come back to them both here on the Facebook page, and they also get uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch them on my YouTube channel or via my website, because the videos tab on my website will take you to the YouTube channel. So that's it for today. I'll be back here again as always next Tuesday. Have a great day and a great week. Let's hope we have some sunshine between now and next Tuesday, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.